This is PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you PlayerProps.ai. This for winners research. We run it up with every betting tool you know in each perk. Trevis tested waters, help you swim even the feet first. Now strategies and all you need to help you eat.
Hey guys, it's me, Trevis with PlayerProps.ai, and this is what we're looking at for week 6 of Survivor. If you listen to the words that came out of my mouth, congratulations, you're moved on to week 6. If you did almost anything else, unfortunately, you're probably knocked out. The top 2 heaviest picks this week lost in the first. This is one of the bigger bloodbaths of recent memory. Typically, you're always hoping for the top one or the top two, but it's interesting. So this contest, the $18 million contest, doesn't release any information on who picked what until the entire thing is locked, which is typically Sunday afternoon. So everybody's like refreshing Twitter and looking through the interwebs to try to find how many people had the Rams on Thursday as their pick. And lo and behold, Saturday night, I showed you guys in Discord that they were the number one pick out of everybody. 38%, I believe it was 38% of the people picked the Rams KO'd. And I'm like, okay, so we got a lot of people going. But you got to keep doing strong, keep doing the same strategy I keep teaching you guys on all these Survivor episodes we do. Um, and then I wasn't even watching the game because I had a show I had to go see. But like at the intermission of the show I'm at, I see this image on Facebook that has I'm guessing it was DeMarcado of the Cardinals had the ball in his hand crossing the goal line, and the score showed 21-6, and it's like the Arizona Cardinals were here and still found a way to lose the game. I was like, wait, hold on. Huh? They lost the game, and I have horrible reception in this place I'm in, refreshing my app like crazy. And I was like, they did it. Gosh dang, Cam Ward pulled off a massive upset for his first victory of the season of his career. And so this contest started at 18,700 players roughly. And according to what Circa Survivor says in the top left, there are only uh, what 4,669 entries left. So a large portion of it's already gone through week 5, but we still have to fend off 4,600 people for the remainder of the season. And there's still 15 weeks left because remember, this is a 20-week contest. You also have to pick a player to win on Thanksgiving and also pick a team to win on no, Thanksgiving and Christmas. So aside from the 18 weeks that you're already playing on most survivors, you have to pick an extra one, an extra two from the holiday ones. I didn't really look at much of anything. I don't like looking at what I'm going to be talking about, so you experience it at the same time I do. For the last 2 or 3 years, have religiously used this site that is called Survivor Atlas. There is a super, super small, I'm talking like a couple bucks, premium access paywall to get view to everything, especially this map, which I think is the best feature they have. But if you want to get that, you can actually use the same promo code used for anything we do, which is player props. So use player props when you're doing, if you decide to upgrade to that, and you'll get a good chunk of change off of it anyway. But that said, let's just get right into it. Let's see if we can find something to carry us forward after this great bloodbath that we saw in week 5. And then, like, icing on the cake, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, there's only like 400, 500 entries for the Buffalo Bills, but still, icing on the cake nonetheless. And you're probably also asking, what the heck you're in front of a bed? What happened? What's going on here? For this week, I am in Vegas for another convention. So I just flew in. I landed like 30 minutes ago, got blessed with enough good juju for them to be able to check me in 5 hours early. And I was like, you know what? Let's crank out Monday's content before I take either a power nap or find something else to do. So here we are. Work first. That's that's the mindset. Work isn't the most important thing in your life. It doesn't have to be. If it's important, you got to put the important things first. I'm going to stop jibber jabbering. We're going to find where we lock in for following week, which is week 6. So what I do here, week 6 teams. Okay, so we get rid of the teams you've already done. Arizona, Dallas, Indy, Denver, Seattle. I think it was Seattle, yeah. So now they're not going to show us anything for those weeks. And also, I'm going to get rid of week 5. So I record this on Monday, so week 5 is still technically active, but it's not what we're talking about, so we're gonna get rid of it. So okay, I clicked around on all the things, and now it has removed all of the teams that we've already picked together, because I know you're doing exactly what I say and not the opposite to shoot yourself in the foot. Um, so with that being said, let's look at the hottest week 6 picks. By a mile, it's probably going to be the Green Bay Packers over the horrendous Browning and the Bengals. They can't figure out how to play football, and teams are targeting them at a very high rate. The only thing to consider, ladies and gents, is even though that may be a good spot there, there's a lot of good spots here. Green Bay is not a bad team, and they have a 14.5 favorite against Carolina, 8.5 against Giants, 8.5 against Minnesota, 9.5 against the Bears, 5.5 like there's so much other opportunity to use the Packers and their FSV, which I've explained to you. The higher the negative number, the more you want to hold on to them. You want people with a low negative number or a positive number in general. Also, they are a team that plays on Turkey Day, and this looks like it's going to be like Lions favored by point 0.5, but I think if you only have one or two teams to choose from, you can choose of either of those teams, and you should be fine. So either Turkey Day game here, um, skipping one down to Philly, the same thing. They're one of 3 teams right now for week 6 that are favored by a touchdown over the Giants, but they also are favored by a touchdown in the Giants and also get to be at home -11, -4.5, -8.5, -9.5, -6. They have a -5, -49 FSV value. But also to note, they have a probably the sexiest option for Turkey Day. So if let's just take a quick pander at that. Yeah. So the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles are essentially going to be the Turkey Day picks because they're both um, heavily favored, 8.5 points. We can't do Dallas. We've already used Dallas, so we know we can't use them. And if we go here to Christmas Day, so Baltimore, the 2 Turkey Day picks is Baltimore, Philly. So we have to make sure we have both of those locked and loaded in our back pocket. Baltimore and Philly. Then let's look at Turkey Day. It's pretty much like Washington, Detroit, KC. I'm not so I'm not in love with the Minnesota Detroit only 3 points being a division game. KC over Denver, I think I'm okay with. If Washington is healthy and they've started going on a run, them over Dallas I'm okay with, but Dallas is also a good team. So I think for this one, it's at least saving Kansas City and either Detroit or Washington. And this is months down. I mean, this is Christmas Day. So that's why we're not touching those in a nutshell because we have to have them for later. Because if you make 0 picks, you're like, oh, let's say all of the teams playing today you have already picked by this time, you have eliminated yourself. You're gone. So I'm gonna go back. Okay, so Green Bay is not somebody on Christmas. Green Bay's not somebody we would probably consider on Turkey Day, but it would be nice to have them. I don't think we went with the Rams yet, right? I don't think so. The Rams just had a pretty bad upset against San Francisco with I almost said Mac McClung of Osceola Magic. the three-time dunk champion. Mac Jones is the one we're looking for. But I think they come back angry, very, very angry. And Baltimore has shown us that the Houston Texans can destroy them by 40 plus points. I think Puka and Kyron Williams can also destroy them by 40 plus points. Cooper Rush is not the answer. Now, if we could look, they do have a decently high FSV. It's minus 61. We can look at some other opportunities here. The following week, they play Jacksonville. A couple weeks down the road, they play the Saints, minus 12. Carolina at Carolina, minus 8.5. Arizona at Arizona, week 18, which could be the final pick of the season. Rams over Cardinals. So I don't think that was not a that was a mixture of a yawn and a thought. It was a yacht. What's the lowest team we would possibly consider? I mean, you're clearly not going against Mac Jones again, so we're not going to worry about Tampa Bay. I knew Tampa Bay was going to win the game against Seattle. The fact that Seattle was favored is crazy to me. I told everybody like at minimum do Tampa Bay plus 3.5, but a lot of people did Tampa Bay money line. Of course, Tampa Bay won, but that was weird. I did not. I mean, I know they lost their starting running back. Yeah, but they also still have their starting running back. Rashad White was always the starting running back. The only person they're missing is Evans, and they have Godwin back and this star rookie receiver. And yeah, I would not bet against Tampa Bay anytime soon. Patriots, who just upset the Bills. They are versing arguably the worst two teams in the NFL in the next 2 weeks. And shockingly enough, they're only 3.5 favorites, minus 3.5 here, minus 3.5 here. They're both at the opponent, so at New Orleans, at Tennessee. It gets higher. There's a New York Jets 5.5, New York Giants at home 5.5, Miami in the last week of the season. I know that the Saints, like, Saints only won by 12 over the Giants, right? But the thing you need to pay attention to is the Giants turned the ball over like 4 or 5 times. That game should have been extremely close, if not just New Orleans losing in general. I'm very strong now on New England, but I'm just curious about this minus 3.5. I'll see how that changes throughout the week. Buffalo. Buffalo is interesting because Buffalo is the I think the highest FSV for a team that doesn't play on any of the holidays. They don't play on Turkey Day, they don't play on Christmas Day. They have Atlanta 3.5, but if we wait just 2 more weeks, we get them with Carolina to 9.5, and that 9.5 is their highest. Oh, sorry, there's Cincinnati at home in week 14, that's 13.5. But no, they have a lot of high ones. And Atlanta at Atlanta, just not high enough. Washington was one of the teams we wanted to save for Christmas Day. I think the Bears are better than people think. They're better than last year. Uh, Caleb's doing pretty good. Rome's doing pretty good. The play calling is doing a lot better. But again, they also have a game on Christmas Day, and we don't know what's going to happen, so we want to make sure we try to avoid all of those. When I looked at, so I told you guys before that I didn't pull this up to start studying this, but I did look at like the matchups, like on ESPN app, like who's versing who. The first thing I saw that I go, this is probably going to be it before I do any in-depth research was the Chargers over Miami. Miami is a great team. Miami would have had a Super Bowl run in the last 2 years, at least one Super Bowl run, if Tua never got hurt and all of our defenders never tore their ACLs or their Achilles. We had the team needed to win the Super Bowl. Injuries and concussions happen, and this is our recovery season. which means, oh hey, all this bad crap happened, but everybody seems nice and healthy now. And then Tyreek Hill's leg goes sideways, and we are no longer the healthy Dolphins that was gonna, take this team to the playoffs. I don't think that any um I don't think there's any. We came into the season with a lot of DBs banged up, which I already was afraid of. Our rushing defense, we keep bringing people in that have rushing defense pedigree, and then we just keep allowing rushing yards. Rico Dowdle is not the greatest running back in the world. He's even the second best running back on the Carolina Panthers. He's the first running back this year, I think, to rush for over 200 yards. Switch cheesed up. Gosh dang Dolphins. In other words, the Dolphins are in shambles. I hold on. Let me see that. Okay, I think they're going to lose to the Browns. I'm trying to see the next time they have a chance to win. They have a chance here against New Orleans. I think the Jets will be clicking a little bit better with Justin Fields, so I don't think we'll win that one. And I think Joe Burrow will be back by the time the Cincinnati -4 comes around. I am the most hardcore fan of the Dolphins, and I know when we have a chance to win and when we don't. We definitely had a chance to win against the Panthers. We should have won against the Panthers. We were up like 17 points. We just kept giving the ball back to them and not stopping them. We should have beat the Patriots. That was a team. There's two teams we should have won. You take that right now, and we're what, 2-3, 2-2. I don't even know, but it's a hot mess. We're looking at the draft at this point. Um, Mike McDaniels is not going to make the playoffs, and if he knows he's not going to make the playoffs, he might as well set up Miami with a nice stash of picks prior to his expediting his exit of the team. Tyreek Hill's going to get cut because of his contract structure and his injury, so it's just going to be a hot mess. So that's definitely the one that popped up as number one over my head. So, but it also makes sense the fact that it's not really a high. Chargers have some games where they're favored, but it's not a crazy high number. There are a lot of other higher FSV ratings. The Raiders versus the Titans. We just saw the Titans upset the Cardinals. They could be carrying that momentum into this game. The Raiders also are abysmal. Geno Smith is not a good quarterback. We just went against them with the Colts, and the Colts beat them by like 600-1. There's no way I'm ever touching this team. This team is probably a team that I'm not going to touch this entire season. They're that bad. Cleveland had a pretty decent game with a new starting quarterback, former UCF Dylan Gabriel against Minnesota and London. Pittsburgh is a 3-1 team. Aaron Rodgers is on his retirement run, um, doing everything in his power to get his team to the playoffs at minimum. He has history at the Cleveland defense. It's a 5.5 against Cincinnati here, depending on if this is Jake Browning or if this is um, Joe Burrow. There's not really a ton of other opportunities where Pittsburgh's going to be favored. So this makes sense. This is only his rookie's second career start. Pittsburgh's defense not too bad. We don't need Pittsburgh to win by 6 points, just to win by one. And then a way up, like I said, these guys play on Turkey Day. These guys have better opportunities down the road where even though Baltimore is abysmal, I think this is a good trap game for everybody to pick the Rams because of how bad Baltimore is. And then Cooper Rush decided to pull out a one time and beat them. And then, of course, Green Bay available on Turkey Day and has plenty of games where they're going to have a favorite. So, all of this chit chatting back and forth, let's come down to two teams. There are two teams that I can actually consider playing and risking my entry that is still active in the Circa Survivor that pays out $18 million to the last survivor. Let's say it's Pitt or Chargers. I just have to figure out for the 4 or 5 days left of the week who is more likely to lose. I mean, you might look at it as well as who's more likely to win, but who's in a situation, whether it's injuries, whether people are getting moved around positions, like which defense of the Dolphins or the Browns is most likely to not be enough to stop the other team from scoring? I mean, on paper, it's clearly the Dolphins. There's a few other things I want to look into, but those are the two teams. So if you've already chose one, chose the other one, choose the other one. It looks like they haven't been too much used. 97% of the entries have Pitt, 98% have Chargers. Looks like the only ones that are super crazy owned is 58% of people already used Buffalo. So that's interesting. But yeah, I think that's what we're going with. Either one of those two teams. I'll let you guys know in Discord who the final one becomes. But I'm gonna spend some research specifically on those two. I'm not gonna look at every other team. We already figured out, like based on this map, we've ruled out all but two. And now that there's two that are interesting, we spend more time to look at them to see which one we want. So that's how it works in a nutshell, kids. If you have any questions whatsoever, make sure you're doing the bare minimum to get the answers. That is getting into our Discord. It's community Discord. It's a 100% free to join chat room full of sports bettors. And not only just sports bettors, but helpful sports bettors. There's no such thing as a dumb question in my Discords. When you hop in there and you ask a question, even if you think it's dumb, something like, "Hey, what is sports betting?" or what does NFL Survivor mean?" There's nobody that's going to laugh at you because we kicked them all out. They've been banned. No trolls allowed. So hop in there. It's safe space. Ask a question. Tens of thousands of people more than willing to help you out there. But yeah, let's keep this thing going here. Tonight's game is Kansas City and Jacksonville. I know that there's maybe 33 picks on Kansas City, so essentially I'll be rooting for Jacksonville. But if Kansas City wins, it doesn't break my heart because it doesn't change the amount of people left too much. It's not a big change. But go Jacks anyway. They drafted Blake Bortles number 3 overall. They deserve this win. Good luck, guys. We'll see you in the next one.